Hi, welcome to Matt Holman Golf. Been meaning to do an analysis of Gary Woodland for a while, so thought I'd take a look. He's incredibly powerful hitter of the ball. Great player. I mean, really what I like about his game, he's got a real efficient, simple technique. He's not creating his power by sort of overswings or what you see in some of the power hitters. He really creates his speed through being physically very strong, very powerful, and then just a very simple, efficient technique. So take a look at this. Let's start at the right hand side. So it's a dog leg from left to right. So he's set up for a little bit of a fade there, and you can see that through his stance, aim slightly left. I think in this period, it's relatively recent, he just stopped working with Butch Harmon. I know he sort of didn't quite work out for him, but he started to get some form going again here. So, a very simple movement away from the ball. His arms very much stay in front of his body. You can sort of just draw a little vertical line down there for his hand line. You can see his hands work slightly closer to that line, where the arms of the club very much stay out in front of him. The leading edge of the club points to the sky. I think someone like Lee Westwood, you see a very similar start in a lot of the Pete Cowan players. In some of these modern methods, you see the face a little bit stronger, especially with the iron. I think the drive is slightly different to that, but he's very much sort of toe up, arms very much through the centre of the body, sets the club on plane to just inside the ball, which I would say is an ideal. And what I really like with his swing, has this nice short arm swing. The club's on line, there's no sense of sort of overswing there. His arm plane, and then his spine angle at 90 degrees. It's not my best line ever there. They really talk about that sort of in terms of physics. We can keep our arm plane at 90 degrees to our spine angle, then we can generate most force there. I think what you really notice in his swing, that we can have a look on the left hand side quickly. He's hitting a 3-wood here, so main difference being PGA Tour wise, if we talked about TrackMan, these guys are hitting down on the ball slightly with a 3-wood. So his ball's going to be a little bit further back to aid that, a little bit more shaft lean, but essentially a similar swing. He has a nice shifter into his right side. So I think something I really notice in Gary's swing, he has this short arm swing, but it really creates great lag, and I think for most guys watching, that's something they struggle to achieve. What I find interesting I teach a lot of better players, and where they use their lower bodies very aggressively, it's definitely a fault I've had in the past. It's tough for them to sort of cast or throw the club. They've all got sort of lag, especially a lot of these juniors. If anything, I teach some really good juniors that lag the club sort of too much, and for average amateur they can never really understand how they achieve that, and it's all really to do with the lower body sequence. So these guys will definitely have a sort of a forward movement. If you can think of something under his left foot there, I often talk about sort of a squeaky toy or something. He's really pressing down into the ground there, and it's a sequence from the left toe, left knee, left hip, in that order. So talk about sort of movement sequence or kinematic sequence. So if that front side sort of starts to work and pull, and I know David Ledbetter often talks about sort of pullers and pushers, and guys that tend to cast or swing outside in are pushing too hard with their right arm, right shoulder, right hand, where these guys that lag a lot are really pulling off their left side. So great drill is just to make swings left hand only. Actually grip down slightly so the club's not too heavy. Swing to about halfway back and stop where the left arm would be about where Gary's there in the backswing. Stop, and then just pull it and swing through to about halfway through. And that stopping sequence will really start to train the lower body to work correctly. The left hand only with the stop will get you pulling a lot better. So if you want to start to get this sort of Gary Woodland lag, I think that's really the way to go. Left hand only swing to halfway back, stop, and then from there maybe count to 2, start to pull through, feel like the the lifting's occurring more through this front side of the body. But a lot of the better players I teach, I'm having to work on opposite, lots of right hand only work, feeling the right arms pushing, so they tend to get too narrow. So you can see all the lag that Gary's achieved here. And he hasn't got a huge amount of shafting for the ball, but the necessary amount to compress the shot. He covers well, and a really good flexibility and a strong, powerful move through. So now if you look down, you can see it's not, his hips aren't spinning straight from the top. There's very much a sort of a forward diagonal. There's a pressure down, but where he pulls off the front side, creates great lag. The club's very much out in front of him, and he's really creating his speed through rotational speed. Look how much that front side's cleared, the chest is opening. It's all very much on plane. It's a passive release and a strong turn through.